Hello and welcome back to another split format feature commentary. We are going to be starting our split format 5 tournament coverage, and we're starting off with round 1 feature match. It is Moonlight versus Cheetos. So I'm just going to give you all a little insight into who the players are that you're about to watch. So in the front we're going to have Moonlight 777. Their past achievements are they won first place in Split Standard 3 with Omni Heroes and second place in the more recent Split Robin 2 with Teller Knights, which is part of the Duelist Alliance card pool. Their playstyle is they said they're an aggro player, I guess, but we're not going to see them play an aggro deck today. And their favorite card of all time is Penguin Knight for uniting the deck and the graveyard to form a new deck. And then their favorite card in split format is the Teller Knight Deltaros, part of the Duelist Alliance card pool. Today they are playing Shellshock, built around the combo, or not really a combo, but the synergy of either Volcanic Shell or Thunderhand with discard costs such as Graceful Charity, Paleozoic Dynamicious, and Divine Wrath. And then in the back we're going to have Salty Cheetos. His past achievements are he got first place in Powerpalooza 1 with Fiend Slop. Now Powerpalooza is a different type of split format tournament where we let people use workshop card pools, which are fan-made card pools that aren't actually officially legal in the format, but you're still allowed to play them and mess around with them and figure stuff out. Well, we have a tournament where you are only allowed to use card pools like that are fan-made from community members. So he won our first Powerpalooza tournament with Fiend Slop, which is also the deck that he's about to use in this tournament. They also got second place in the very first split format tournament ever with Zombie Teledad, and their playstyle is survival and control. They enjoy grindy game states where both players still have a fighting chance in the game and they're going back and forth trading resources. And then their favorite cards of all time is Salamangreat Great Foxy, which they said has a lot of nostalgia. And then split format, their favorite card is Haggard Lizardos, the only generic Link monster. Alright, so let's get into the gameplay. Okay, so Cheetos is going to start us off. He's going to open up with this Labyrinth card. On normal summon, you can send a normal trap from your hand or field to the graveyard to summon a level 4 or lower fiend from your deck in defense position. Rhino is not in defense mode, but it should be. And then Buio, since he has a fiend on the field, he can negate its effects to special summon the Buio. And then make a rank 3, detaching 2 to draw with Armor Torpedo. And then that will trigger Buio and Rhino when sent to the graveyard. So you're already seeing the kind of crazy, not combos, but like crazy plays Fiend Slop can make to maintain card advantage. Rhino is going to send Terrifying Tidal Rift Torment, which revives itself face down. And then on flip, that mills a Fiend from the deck. Now this Armor Torpedo cannot attack because it has no materials, but it is still basically a 2500 wall that Moonlight will have to deal with eventually. Fortunately for Moonlight, he's playing hands, so he can just crash a Fire Hand into the Torpedo without much trouble. Cosmic Cyclone won't do anything to stop that hand, but it will be useful against the Redeemable Jar or the Fiendish Chain. And then we're going to see Fire Hand crash, chaining with Thunder Hand, so he gets both a Thunder Hand to pop and an Ice Hand. And the Fire Hand looks like it popped the face. One of them popped the face down Torment. Does that trigger it, or no? Is it when it's sent from the hand or deck? Yeah. And then I think, yeah, Ice Hand pops that Cosmic Cyclone. So we're seeing hands do the hand shenanigans, where if you play into them and like let them crash, they're just gonna wipe your whole board. And then does that Thunder Hand get in for some damage? I think so. Yeah, we're looking at 3000 damage on the board. And that is going to trigger a Gores for Salty Cheetos. So he's going to get a 1600 defense or attack and defense token. And then Castell will shuffle back that Gores. Yeah, no use leaving an Ice Hand on the field when there's no spell or traps on Cheeto's side. It'll be easy to just attack over. So we might as well use it for rank 4 material, which also lets us reuse this Thunder Hand effect to banish or to destroy a card, because it did not go from the field to the graveyard. It was detached as material. We're going to see Cheetos respond with a Mutiny in the Sky to shuffle back some Fiends and summon the Duke of Demise. So this is kind of Fiend Slop's like boss monster, you could say, or unless you count like the one of Diabolica. But it cannot be destroyed by battle. It gives you an extra normal summon every turn, and you can banish this from the graveyard to get a Fiend back from your graveyard to your hand to reuse stuff like Buio or Rhino or Tour Guide. So that Tour Guide normal summon is going to get stopped by a Fiendish Chain. And then we don't have a way to beat over the Castell, so we can just crash But Moonlight is going to activate Dogmatic Punishment, one of Shellshock's strongest plays, sending a Lulu synchro monster to the graveyard, which will summon a Sword Soul Iris in the end phase. We are looking at the plays of maybe the two strongest decks in the format right now. Both of these decks are highly competent with a lot of options. So we're going to see that Iris come out in the end phase. And then main phase 2, we get another normal summon since Duke gave us the tour guide. And this is going to send the breakthrough skill to summon a Fiendish Rhino Warrior back out of the deck. This is limited to one copy, but we were able to shuffle it back with Mutiny in the Sky. And then we can go for another rank 3, maybe a Grand Pulse to start popping some back row. Moonlight does have a Divine Wrath face down, but there are no cards in Moonlight's hand to discard for that Divine Wrath. So that Grand Pulse is just going to go off without a hitch. Rhino is going to send another Torment, which is going to revive itself. So you see, Fiends are very good at maintaining card advantage and getting follow-up. Mutiny in the Sky, the fusion spell, can also send a Fiend or Fairy from your field to the graveyard or your hand to add it back. So we sent that that level 4 Fiend Labyrinth to get Mutiny back for next turn. You can only activate, or you can only fusion summon with it once per turn, but we can just use it next turn. And then we're gonna link summon for Hazardos. What the heck? Wizard Haggard Lizardos. Banishing itself to draw a card because that was a banished reptile. That's really interesting. Oh, okay. He wanted Cheeto. Yeah, Cheeto said he wanted to link off the level 4 so that a hand could not just crash into it. And then here's that Sword Soul Iris coming on the end phase. Basically, if Cheetos special summons a monster, period, then Iris gets 1 of 3 effects. If you summon from the hand, you get to special summon from your own hand. If you summon from the deck, like with Tour Guide, then he gets to draw 2 cards. And if he summons from the extra deck, you can destroy the monster that was summoned from the extra deck. So if he goes for a fusion monster or something. Alright, now we're going to see that Divine Wrath. Discard a Thunderhand, which can revive itself to negate that Terrifying Total of Torment from milling something. Breakthrough skill is going to come out to negate the Sword Soul Iris for the turn. That way when we fusion summon, Iris can't just pop the fusion monster. Going to recycle our Rhino and the Torment. Moonlight's going to declare Iris anyway, just for funsies, even though it's negated. And then we crash into the Castell and cannot be destroyed by battle. Very nice. Redeemable Jar is a crazy top deck. Oh my gosh. That is nuts. That's going to let us recycle that punishment potentially twice. That's a crazy top deck. Yeah, Redeemable Jar is a very, very strong value engine for the Shellshock deck. You just get to reuse your strong traps over and over and over again, such as Bottomless or the Solemns or Dogmatic Punishment. We're going to beat over that Duke of Demise for 500 damage, even though it can't be destroyed by battle. And then Toddler is going to flip, sending the Rhino. Sending Soul Scissors. This is one of their other limited cards. If a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect while this is in the graveyard, you can summon this card, banish when it leaves the field, and if this is summoned from the graveyard, you can pop a monster your opponent controls. So basically, whenever one of your things dies, you get a body to replace it and a monster pop. Kind of sort of like Thunderhand almost. Did I just... Oh, okay. Oh, I was like, did I just see Igor's get tribute summoned? No, this Salamander can just special summon the Igor's from your hand by discarding itself. And then we're going to swing over that Iris for 2,700. That makes Igor's such a low-risk card in the Fiend Slop deck, because even if you draw it with a full board, you can still just special summon it anyway. Ayo. Ayo. Redeemable Jar is going to flip now using a banishing a trap to get back the Dogmatic Punishment. And then it looks like we're going to set 2 back row. Even though we don't have a discard fodder for Dinomicious yet, we might as well set it to have it available later. Cheetos is going to attempt to attack in for some damage, but punishment is going to pop that. Sending a Malong, so this is higher attack, so we destroy the Duke of Demise. And then when Malong goes to the graveyard, you also get to return a monster to the hand. So we're going to get to put that Gores back in the hand, preventing it from attacking this turn. Jar activates again, getting back the Dogmatic Punishment again. You see the resource loop going on. And now we have a Judgment and a Punishment and a Dinomicious face down. Mutiny is going to activate again. This card just is Infinite Fusion Summons. It represents So many bodies over the course of a long game. Swinging for 2,000, but punishment is going to pop it again, sending Valon, which when this is sent to the graveyard, you can pop a face down card on the field. So we're going to get to destroy that back row as well. Punishment, the 2-for-1 machine. Mutiny is going to use Gores from the hand to put itself back in the hand. And then, ooh, okay, we got a fire hand, so now we can apply some pressure. Try to attack a few times per game. Yeah, that's going to trigger the Gores. Moonlight's going to let that resolve. This is fine. Even if they attack over the hand, it'll get to pop the Gores in response. Moonlight draws a Fiend Griefing for turn, which can banish or shuffle stuff from the graveyard back in the deck, so that can help him play around Thunderhand. Gores is going to swing over this fire hand, let it get the pop. Ooh, okay. Oh? What are we doing here? Interesting. It looks like Cheetos was going to try to... I don't know. I don't know what Cheetos was planning to do with this Fiend Griefing, but it looks like he chained it to Thunderhand to try to shuffle the Thunderhand back. But Thunderhand activates in the damage step, so it's all after battle. Things that happen when a monster is destroyed by battle still happen during the damage step, so Fiend Griefing cannot be activated here. So they did get that ruling wrong, I'm pretty sure. But a Judgment was activated to negate the Fiend Griefing anyway, so maybe it won't make a huge difference, hard to say. But that Thunderhand, Firehand's going to pop the Gores, and then I think Thunderhand had nothing to pop. It has to be on the same chain. Okay, they both agreed that you can. I'm like 99% sure you cannot Fiend Griefing in the damage step, which is when the hands trigger. Anyway, Mutiny is going to come down again, summon that Duke of Demise. We also just have infinite Duke of Demise because you can shuffle one back to summon it. Dinomicious is going to banish that though, discarding the other Dinomicious. And then we still have this redeemable jar giving us just traps for days and days and days. This is quite the grind fest. Both of these decks have just very, very good recursion. We're going to see it bring back the Judgment. And then we're just going to start attacking over stuff with the Ice Hand. And Cheetos admits defeat because he knows he has no way to outgrind that redeemable jar. Spoiler alert, redeemable jar did get banned after this tournament. And you just witnessed why. It basically just represents a free out to anything over and over every turn, including by getting back a punishment, which is a 2-for-1. So it represents a +2 every turn in the right circumstances. So very easy to see why it got banned. That card is crazy, crazy, crazy in these longer games. So Solemn Warning is going to negate that flip summon, preventing it from sending a Fiend from the deck to the graveyard. And then this is going to... okay, this got normal summon, and then Dinomicious banished on summon, so it did not get a chance to activate its ignition effect to special summon a Fiend from the deck. And we see Moonlight did discard Volcanic Shell for that, fulfilling the Shellshock prophecy of Volcanic Shell and Thunderhand. And then Redeemable Jar comes out instantly, and Cheetos is not excited about that. Moonlight has the Wombo combo of Volcanic Shell, Graceful Charity to build up his hand. But Fiend Griefing is going to shuffle the Volcanic Shell back. Why? Oh, okay. Anyway, maybe I missed something there. I'm not really quite sure why a shell was not searched, even though it was activated. But Griefing did get to send a Rhino to the grave, which summoned a Torment face down. And then we're going to Graceful Charity. We can discard that Thunderhand for free advantage. And then this Dinomicious can represent a little chump blocker body later on in the game if we need it to. The made-to-order Mermaid Outfitter is going to banish Fiendish Rhino Warrior from the graveyard, preventing it from being recycled by that Mutiny in the Sky, because this is limited to one copy. So we no longer have it available to send Fiends over and over and over again. Graceful Charity is going to cycle into a Magic Planter. And then Redeemable Jar is going to try to get something back, but it is going to be fizzled by this Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Very cool, very cool. And it looks like that will be the end of Moonlight's turn. Now we're going to flip this Torment, send a different Fiend. We don't have Rhino available anymore. We're going to send this Labyrinth. Does this do anything in the graveyard? I don't think so. That's fine. I'm curious why we didn't send Diabolica instead, or something else. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to special summon Wheel of the Dawn's Light because we have a Fiend on the field. And then attacking that hand, attacking to the face down, see what it is. It was a hand. Then we're going to make Grand Pulse, detach to pop this Bottomless, but it is going to get banished by the Bottomless. Anyway, Wheel gets to search a Mutiny in the Sky. Will we activate it this turn? Yes, we will. Specialing a Duke of Demise, shuffling back the Torment, and another Torment. And passing. So both players are in very low, very simplified game state, but this Redeemable Jar could just go crazy and build up Moonlight's hand back. Cheetos also needs a way to deal with this Fire Hand without destroying it, or it will eat his board apart. Sending Duke of Demise to graveyard to recycle Mutiny in the Sky to summon another Duke of Demise. Ooh, very cool. Okay, yes. So Mutiny in the Sky sent Duke of Demise from field to grave to recycle itself, and then Duke of Demise can banish itself from the graveyard to get a Fiend back. So now we see what Cheetos was cooking when he sent that level 4, because he could recycle it with Duke of Demise back to the hand. And then this will let him go for a rank 4, shuffling back that Fire Hand so we don't have to destroy it by battle. Swinging in for 2,000 damage. Going to set a Wing Blast in the main phase 2, and then Redeemable Jar is going to grab back this Dynamicious to give us an out to the Castell. Or we could top deck Ice Hand, which is also an out to the Castell. Crazy. Cheeto's debating whether to Wing Blast that, and he will. And as long as he draws a Fiend, he can get that Mutiny in the Sky back. Magic Planter is going to send this Redeemable Jar to draw 2 cards. That's unfortunate. We drew the Ice Hand and the Fire Hand, but really not that unfortunate. We still have the other 2 copies of both of them in the deck. So they are both still very, very live. Castell gonna swing in, and Moonlight just takes it. Preferring, rather than banishing the monster with Dynamicious, he wants to leave it on the field to crash a Fire Hand into it. Taking 400 damage, going down to 1100 life points. So even though Moonlight has the card advantage in this case, Cheetos is very, very, very far ahead on life points and might be able to have enough time to make a comeback. Do I have to destroy both Thunder Hands? Yes, Fire Hand does have to destroy the Castell. Oh, I guess he's trying to find a way not to have Thunder Hand have to pop itself. No, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Oh, okay, but in order to float the Fire Hand, he wants to be able to destroy the Castell with Fire Hand, meaning Thunder Hand can't do it first. But like Cheeto said, you can just chain it in the right order. That Thunder Hand resolves after Fire Hand. So Fire Hand pops Castell, floats into an Ice Hand, and the Thunder Hand revives itself. And then we're going to make a Castell to be able to reuse the Thunder Hand later, so that it doesn't get banished when it leaves the field. Ooh, Pot of Acquisitiveness. This card is underrated. We're going to shuffle back 3 banished cards, so now we have access to that Fiendish Rhino Warrior again, and then we draw a card, which ended up being a Bottomless Trap Hole. Tito said, unfortunately, that changes nothing. He's going to summon the level 4, try to make a play, but Dynamicious is going to banish that. Going to swing in for 3,400 potentially. Yes, Bottomless is not live here. Ice Hand is tiny. Top deck with Tour Guide, actually crazy, actually insane top deck. We're going to finish Rhino Warrior, maybe get our engine back online. Detach 2. Oh, okay, he's... Huh, that's too bad he set the Bottomless when it ended up not being relevant. Oh, yes, but Moonlight was on such low life points that 2,400 over that Ice Hand will just be game. So that Tour Guide was a very, very nice top deck, putting enough attack points on the board to swing for game. And here we are going into game 3. Moonlight's going to start us off with the classic set 4 back row and pass. Peak Shellshock gameplay. One of them is a punishment, so that card already represents a 2-for-1. And then we have Dynamicious plus Volcanic Shell to discard it and get another shell right back. Cheetos has 2 Gores in hand with a full board, which is interesting to see how that's going to play out. Again, if he draws the Salamander, he can just special summon Gores without needing to take damage on an empty board. Graceful Charity, Volcanic Shell. Oh, this is the dream. Graceful Charity, discard Shell and Thunder hand. Shellshock, indeed. So basically, Graceful Charity drew 3 cards for 1 card with no real cost, which is kind of the fundamental idea of this card pool, is to get card advantage out of those discard costs. We did draw Iris, which is limited to 1 copy, so Punishment will not have anything to summon if we send Lulu, so we'll just not send Lulu. We'll have a million other options to send for Punishment. We did draw Salamander, so we're going to use that to summon the Gores, but it gets hit by a Bottomless, and Cheetos passes. Shell is going to activate to get the 3rd copy into our hand. And we have this Pot of Avarice for later in the game after we've discarded a few more monsters. Set in the back row and pass. We're looking at Void Trap Hole, Dynamicious, and Punishment against Bottomless, Wing Blast, and a Dark Hole. Just going to normal summon Salamander and try to swing for 16 to apply some pressure. That is going to get banished by a Dynamicious, discarding a Volcanic Shell. Moonlight draws a Bottomless and sets it. Cheetos draws a Torrential and passes. Seeing the 2 back row heavy decks face off right now until Cheetos can find something to apply pressure with. Same for Moonlight. Okay, here's his first hand, so he can finally start swinging in. Because we're not about to normal summon Volcanic Shell and swing for 100. Cheetos draws a Tour Guide, but he is up against 5 back row, so there is no way in heck that is resolving. It eats a Solemn Judgment, dealing 3,500 damage effectively. Redeemable Jar is going to try to loop those resources, but Cheetos says no sir with a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, discarding the other Gores out of his hand. But we'll simply draw it for turn, only delaying that Redeemable Jar value engine by a single turn. Moonlight swings him for 14. Cheetos draws the 3rd copy of Gores. Is that the 3rd copy? I thought it was. Yes, indeed it is. Okay. Moonlight's drawing a Fire Hand, and he has a Redeemable Jar. Cheetos is going to negate it with Solemn Judgment, which maybe he should have done in the first place. Who's to say? Bottomless Trap Hole is very good against the Fire Hand here, but Cheetos is about to be at 700 life points, and it is not looking good for him. Moonlight is in a very dominating position, especially with this Pot of Avarice available. Inquisitiveness going to shuffle back 3 banished cards and draw a card. And I don't see Cheetos finding a way out of this one. He is going to Dark Hole to get that threat off the board, but any decent body will just be swinging for game. And he has a Cosmic Cyclone that he can't activate, and a Bottomless Trap Hole and a Torrential Tribute to protect himself. Moonlight is going to activate that Pot of Avarice, shuffling back 5 monsters, drawing 2 cards. Hitting that triple shuffle before drawing. And he did not find a monster, he did find 2 more back row. Cheetos draws a Salamander. Gonna try to swing him for 16, but Punishment is going to negate that. Or to destroy that monster, fizzle that attack, and pop a face down card in the process. Will this Thunderhand attack for game? Nope. Torrential Tribute is going to stop that. Cheetos said you got the 1 card that did something. And then Redeemable Jar is going to bring back some Dogmatic Punishment. Keep this loop going. Yeah, you really see why this Redeemable Jar got banned. It wins these stalemates by just getting back your punishment over and over and over again, dealing with threats and building up card advantage at the same time. And Cheetos is going to Cosmic Cyclone himself to death and forfeit. So it was a very long, very grindy game between probably the 2 strongest decks in the format at the time of this tournament. And Moonlight ends up taking the match 2-1 with Shellshock. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back very soon with more videos.